that hot mess that they air in the mornings called The View had to issue not one, not two, not three, but 4 corrections, legal corrections, 4 legal notes. Not to mention what they did at that debate, where once again, they tried to fact check only one side. And then when their fact checks got fact checked, they cowered. They cowered in fear. I mean, this is a pattern with them.
I think the problem with that show is that show has this very specific ideological bubble in which they operate in, you know, and they always bring on a token conservative woman and they yell over her and silence her. And, you know, they did that with Megyn McCain.
Joe Rogan and Megyn Kelly joined forces in a savage takedown that left the daytime divas of The View reeling in real time. No teleprompters, no mercy, just raw truth, and it stung. Thought Whoopi, Joy, and crew were untouchable, not anymore. With us, as we unpack the brutal blow-by-blow that turned America's favorite coffee table talk show into a public roast. This celebrity clash is hotter than ever. You do not want to miss it.
Yeah, there's nothing there. Sometimes comics do that.
Yeah, and the other question is then, is that representative of a big constituency? I think probably yes.
Well, a lot of
MSNBC viewers are probably also thinking,
I don't even think the MSNBC viewers, I think they're a little bit more sophisticated than that.
Yeah.
This is like low information, blue no matter who, like older housewives who are mad at the world. That's the appeal that Whoopi Goldberg.
It's another day, another disaster on The View, where chaos isn't just expected, it's scheduled. Picture this. 5 celebrity hosts shouting like they're auditioning for a haunted house. Joy Behar, mid-rant, her 15th meltdown before noon. Whoopi Goldberg, zoned out like she's solving calculus on a napkin. And Sunny hosting, locked in. A fierce debate with gravity. It's pure madness. No one's listening. Everyone's interrupting. And the audience clapping like trained seals every time someone drops buzzwords like empowerment or democracy. If daytime TV had a warning label, this episode would be it. Welcome to the feud-fueled circus that's spiraling live on air.
Donald Trump will be sworn in as the 47th president of the United States, yay, on January 20th. Of this month. Not everyone's happy about it, and many people would like us to be more focused on the insurrection that he personally unleashed. If you ask them, as we discussed earlier, they think it's as bad as like the Holocaust, and you don't have to take my word for it. Here is Sunny Hostin of The View.
January 6th was an atrocity. It was one of the worst moments in American history. And when you think about the worst moments in American history, you know, like World War II, things that happened, you know, like the Holocaust, chattel slavery.
Yeah, the January 6th is right up there next to the Holocaust.
Amid the screaming match disguised as a talk show, someone tries to deliver a coherent thought, but good luck with that. It's instantly swallowed by shrill crosstalk. Over-the-top gasps and a side-eye from Ana Navarro so cold it could curdle milk on contact. Forget debate. This isn't dialogue. It's diva therapy dressed up with studio lights and delusion. What you're watching isn't journalism. It's an echo chamber in full glam, selling smugness like it's bottled perfume. And yes, you can practically smell the self-righteousness radiating through the screen. The View isn't airing opinions. It's airing grievances, live and unfiltered.
In fairness, though, I mean, The View has to be, you know, if you average out The View hosts, among the dumbest people on television. And so it's like they say the thing that people are thinking, but they say it very directly, so they expose whatever truth. But
I don't think some of them are dumb.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think Sunny Hostin.
You think it's deliberate?
I think she's ideologically driven, and they have blinders on for sure. I don't think Sunny's dumb. But Whoopi is certainly not the brightest person. And what she just said just doesn't make any sense. It's just like so silly to say. It's not a well thought out. It's like if you had an idea for a premise and you like it was totally baked and half baked and you went on stage with it and just it's nothing.
Enter Joe Rogan, calm, cool, and carrying the truth like a wrecking ball. No shouting, no theatrics, just that signature. I've taken enough hits to see through the BS energy. This isn't your average talking head. Rogan's grilled astronauts, monks, conspiracy theorists, and flat earth believers. And still, when he looks at The View, even he's floored. This can't be real. When a guy who's sat across from people who think lizard people run Congress calls your show delusional. That's not shade, it's a solar eclipse.
They're disgusting. She's Anna Navarro in your wildest imagination. You could never solo host a show. You will only ever make it as part of an ensemble, and you could never hope to achieve the success that Tucker Carlson has. So you can sit in your little cheap seats all day long and enjoy your little negative henpecking, but your careers are going nowhere, and Tucker is about to dominate in whatever space he goes.
Megyn Kelly, heels clicking like a media assassin, clocking in for a kill shift. She's not here to play nice. This is the woman too sharp for Fox and too unfiltered for NBC. Mainstream networks ran from her like interns from Accountability. Now, she's armed with a mic, hard receipts, and a hit list titled Daytime TV Hypocrisy. While Joy Behar is busy Googling how to spell authoritarian, Rogan calmly shreds their argument, pointing out the glaring truth. None of the hosts seem to research the outrage they're selling. No shouting. Just that signature Rogan chuckle. The one that says, these people have airtime? It's surgical, it's savage, and it's spectacular. Megyn Kelly, she doesn't just speak, she dissects. She glides through their contradictions like she's giving a guided tour of the Museum of Media Failures. One raised eyebrow from her, and The View's credibility crashes like a bad stock pick. Rogan is the sledgehammer, Kelly the scalpel. Together, they're a two-person wrecking crew that would scare even Satan's PR team. And as Megyn slices through the self-righteous fog, Whoopi Goldberg starts blinking in Morse code like she's trying to call Barbara Walters' ghost for backup. Daytime TV just got exposed, and it was glorious.
That hot mess that they air in the mornings called The View had to issue not one, not two, not three, but 4 corrections, legal corrections, 4 legal notes. We only have 3 of them on camera, but look at this.
I have another legal note.
My God.
Both Trump and Pam Bondi have denied allegations of a quid pro quo. I have a legal note.
You want to take this one, Joy, or are you
Matt
good?
Gaetz has long denied all allegations and has not been charged with any crime.
That's true.
Also, another legal note, Pete Hegseth's lawyer said he paid the woman in 2023 to head off the threat of a baseless lawsuit. He has denied any wrongdoing.
Not to mention what they did at that debate, where once again, they tried to fact check only one side, and then when their fact checks got fact checked, they cowered. They cowered in fear. I mean, this is a pattern with them.
The real tragedy, The View genuinely believed they were untouchable. For years, they floated inside a cushy media bubble, where having a faint memory of the Clinton years and the ability to fake moral superiority was somehow enough to earn airtime. But today, that bubble popped, and not gently, obliterated by 2 people who don't ask permission from legacy media to speak the truth. Joe Rogan and Megyn Kelly aren't chasing Emmys or polite nods from mimosa-fueled brunch panels in Manhattan. They're here for facts, or at the very least to expose the absurd idea that volume equals virtue. When they rolled up with logic, irony, and actual research, The View looked like they'd brought a kazoo to a fencing match. Rogan didn't just change the channel, he reset the whole program. And Kelly, she rewrote the script mid-broadcast. Then came the spark. The moment The View poured gasoline on their own credibility and lit a match. Their latest target? Robert F. Kennedy Jr. mocked, dismissed, eye rolls flying like confetti at a smug parade. No research, no nuance, just synchronized disdain, Olympic-level arrogance with zero intellectual lift. It wasn't journalism, it wasn't even commentary. It was performance art soaked in delusion, live on air. And now, thanks to Rogan and Kelly, the curtain's been ripped down. The feud is real, the exposure, total, and The View may never recover.
Interesting, because I think Sunny is very intelligent, but she's ideologically captured.
Right.
You know, that's sort of, I think the other ones, there's a couple of the other ones, don't have to name any names, who are just very dull-minded. But I think Sunny's not one of them. I think she's smart, but captured.
Sure, I think she came into it with an agenda.
Of course.
You know,
they do everything with an agenda.
And just when you thought the drama had peaked, The View went full scorched earth. They didn't just melt down, they threw free speech into the fire, apparently expressing any opinion that doesn't pass their studio approved, brunch certified filter is now borderline criminal. To hear them tell it, podcast hosts are suddenly public enemies. Dangerous, misleading, and yes, threats to democracy. Why? Because they allow actual conversations, full sentences, uninterrupted thought. You know, radical stuff in today's age of screeching over each other for viral clips. And then came Joe Rogan's signature roast. No yelling, no theatrics. Just that slow burn, eyebrow-raised, logic-laced takedown that hits harder than any shouting match ever could on his podcast, tucked between episodes about elk meat and ancient civilizations. Rogan carved up the View's segment like a Sunday brisket. Calm, brutal, surgical. His point devastating in its simplicity. They're not watching what they're attacking. They're not fact-checking. They're not even curious. It's not journalism. It's performative outrage, sprayed with knockoff moral perfume. Rogan nailed it. Watching them critique content they've never consumed is like watching a drunk guy loudly review a movie he slept through. And honestly, that might be the most accurate description of The View's entire editorial strategy. Less about informing, more about vibing through narratives, as long as they get applause.
Melania Trump came out and said she's about as pro-choice as they come. And here was the reaction on The View.
I think she hates him.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay, so we can all
That's a
agree on
given.
that. That's a given. I also think that she wants to take him out. She does not want to be the first lady anymore.
They agree with you.
She doesn't want to be the first lady. She destroyed the Rose Garden. Who hates Christmas? Melania Trump hates Christmas. She doesn't want to decorate for Christmas. She doesn't want to have anything to do with him.
about that.
She doesn't want to sleep in the same room with him. She can't tolerate him.
Would you look? This is a network that still runs out fact checks to these women, like it's concerned about them staying factual. She hates Trump. She doesn't want to be near him. She doesn't want to be president again. She destroyed the Rose Garden, and she hates Christmas. That is what passes for news on a network they did a presidential debate on.
So Melania Trump came out swinging with a pro-choice stance. And The View, they completely lost it. The reaction was pure, unfiltered chaos. I think she hates him. Yeah, we can all agree on that. And then it went even further. She wants to take him out. She doesn't want to be first lady anymore. She destroyed the Rose Garden. She hates Christmas. Wait, what? Apparently Melania Trump not only hates her husband, but is actively trying to ruin Christmas and burn down every symbol of the Trump legacy she can get her hands on. You heard that right, but here's the real kicker. This is the same network still fact-checking these women like they're actual reporters. Melania Trump hates Christmas. She destroyed the Rose Garden. She can't stand her husband. And this somehow is what passes as news on a network that hosted a presidential debate. It's a circus, a mess, and it's airing live, complete with no facts, just baseless drama. Wrapped in hot take.
No hate for Joy Behar. If I saw her, I'd give her a hug. I'd probably say the same thing about me if I was her. You're worried about losing your job, and you're worried about podcasts taking over, and who's the source of news, and we said Donald Trump was Hitler, but half the country disagreed with us, and he won, and this is fucking great, and Joe Rogan believes in dragons!
Joe Rogan didn't need to throw low blows. He didn't have to. He let The View's own words hang them out to dry. He served up their sound bites, their contradictions, and the absurd comedy routine they perform every day on air. With cold precision, he laid out quotes, timestamps, and irrefutable facts like a seasoned prosecutor bringing charges in a courtroom. His tone, less of an angry podcaster, more of a disappointed teacher, catching a class copying straight from Wikipedia. He mocked their incurable laziness with finesse. Highlighted how they skim headlines, regurgitate Twitter rants, and act like doing your own research is some kind of hate crime. It wasn't rage, it was pity, wrapped in sarcasm. With a bow of intellectual destruction, while The View shouted, "Into the void," Rogan calmly reminded everyone, truth doesn't need to be loud, it just needs to be right. And as the dust from Joe's slow-motion demolition began to settle, in came Megyn Kelly, ready with the verbal equivalent of a tactical nuke. No chaotic caffeine-fueled rants here. Instead, Kelly sharpened her words. Like a blade. One by one, she dissected their broadcast, cutting through their arguments like a top lawyer shredding a kindergarten essay. If Rogan brought clarity, Kelly brought courtroom receipts and a blowtorch. She didn't hesitate. She dove right in. The View's magic formula? Everything's offensive unless it's coming from them. They spend 1 minute clutching their pearls over the offensive idea that men can't get pregnant, and the next, they're laughing at their political opponents like they're roasting them at a Friars Club dinner. It's hypocrisy. It's madness.
Do you see what Whoopi Goldberg said?
What'd she say?
Whoopi Goldberg said that Biden could arrest all the Republicans and put them in jail. You just need to see how unhinged this kind of thinking is. Well, you know what Joe Biden could do? Joe Biden, you have to see it because it's so
On TV.
crazy.
She said it's
on television.
You know, just let's look at a scenario where the Supreme Court says, yes, he has that. He has all those rights. He is immune from everything.
Yeah.
You know what Joe Biden could do since he is president?
What?
Whoa. He could throw every Republican in jail.
According to Megyn Kelly, free speech isn't real unless it's been run through a panel of daytime TV's elite, because apparently The View believes only they have the privilege to determine what's allowed on air. And speaking of privilege, Megyn had her sharpest daggers aimed squarely at Joy Behar and Sunny Hostin. No punches pulled. First up, Joy Behar, the walking eye roll emoji of daytime TV, gets utterly eviscerated. Megyn didn't just critique her, she obliterated her for pretending to be the grand high priestess of progressivism, all while dishing out opinions that would make any real feminist beg for earplugs. Then there's Sunny. Oh, Sunny, Megyn took a scalpel to her smug elitism, calling out her elite lawyer turned daytime diva vibe. Kelly ripped through their faux moral superiority like a hurricane tearing through a hypocrisy warehouse. Female empowerment? More like curated drama wrapped in pastel blazers. Megyn exposed the truth. The View doesn't just debate opinions. It paints any dissenting thought, especially from women, as treason. Disagree with the groupthink. And suddenly, you're not just wrong. You're a threat to sisterhood. It's not a round table. It's an emotional hostage situation where the only safe answer is whatever Whoopi said 5 minutes ago. But the best part, it wasn't just about roasting personalities. It got surgical when the facts rolled in. Here's the kicker. The View thrives on emotionally charged half-truths and headlines. Meanwhile, Joe Rogan and Megyn Kelly walk in armed with, wait for it, actual research. Crazy, right? They reference full transcripts, read past the clickbait, check the context, witchcraft level, stuff. It's no wonder The View didn't stand a chance.
I don't know. Hey, this is the most important part. This is right after she was saying, we are run by ABC News. You should trust us, not Joe Rogan, who believes in dragons. So she by saying we should trust them because they're double checked by ABC News, and then making the stupidest fucking statement. Like you didn't listen to what I said. Yeah. You didn't listen to what the wildlife biologist, and that's only a part of what he said.
Joe Rogan and Megyn Kelly weren't just responding to The View, they were exposing them, and they did it with precision, matching their wild claims to actual events. Take this gem. The View declared a certain podcast episode dangerous, but wait for it. Megyn Kelly played the clips that revealed it was just a discussion on nutrition and the science of cold plunges. Scandalous, right? Or when Joy Behar insisted that Joe Rogan was platforming hate. A 30-second fact check later, and surprise, turned out the guest was a military veteran talking about PTSD and the benefits of meditation. The horror, Megyn didn't just call them out, she buried them under mountains of context. And Joe? Ever the conversational monk, he'd already dissected their entire worldview without even breaking a sweat. The contrast couldn't have been more brutal. Rogan and Kelly, thoughtful, researched, nuanced, and of course, always with that ever-present disdain for The View's obsession with short attention spans. Who has time for 3-hour podcasts full of depth and nuance when you can get 10-second opinion spasms sandwiched between ads for arthritis cream and debt consolidation? Megyn and Joe weren't just exposing lies, they were holding up mirrors. Brutal, painful, hilarious mirrors, the kind that no one wants to look into. But just when you thought the hypocrisy couldn't ferment any further, The View went and took a masterclass in misinformation. And of course, they taught it as gospel. It's the ultimate breakdown of everything they claim to stand for. Remember when The View confidently declared certain COVID facts as gospel, only for those facts to quietly pack up and leave the building months later. Or when they painted political candidates as existential threats based on Facebook memes and Whoopi's half-remembered dinner conversations. These weren't slip-ups. These were symphonies of confidently wrong declarations. Let's not forget their greatest hits, like when they decided legal cases were open and shut based purely on the defendant's haircut, or when they accused Joe Rogan of spreading dangerous misinformation, while misquoting him so badly even the internet collectively cringed. And they did it all while acting like they were anointed by the Council of Truth and Accuracy. Now let's contrast that with Joe Rogan and Megyn Kelly, two people who don't pretend to be omniscient. Rogan regularly invites guests he disagrees with. Shocking, right? A concept so foreign to The View set, it might as well require subtitles. And then there's Megyn Kelly, who doesn't rely on random Instagram posts to back up her claims. No, she quotes the actual case files when the receipts start rolling. And get ready for the world's tiniest violin section, because here it comes, the inevitable victim parade. We're being silenced, they cry, while speaking into cameras 5 days a week with a studio audience, nationwide syndication, and 2.5 million daily viewers. That's not censorship. That's called dominating the airwaves while whining about being ignored. It's like Jeff Bezos complaining about not getting a fair shot at selling books. Joy Behar stumbles out a defense so tone-deaf it could cause tinnitus. And whoopee, she attempts a philosophical deep dive and ends up somewhere between Play-Doh and a sleep-deprived fortune cookie. Meanwhile, America watches, popcorn in hand, wondering, has daytime TV officially jumped the shark, or did it just eat it on live television? And here we are, The View, a relic from an era when shouting over each other and coordinated blazers passed for journalism, now gasping for relevance in the age of Rogan and Kelly. While they clutch pearls over misinformation, Joe's calmly fact-checking between kettlebell swings and Megyn slicing through their smug nonsense with lawyer-grade precision, because when your entire argument collapses under the weight of a UFC commentator and an ex-Fox anchor, maybe it's not just your credibility that's outdated, maybe it's your whole personality. See you in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe and like.